Alrighty guys, what is up? Welcome back to the channel. We got another video today, and I know you're thinking, Ben, you just had a video 2 days ago. How do you fit it all in? How do you keep making these fire videos about e-commerce? And yeah, I make it work. But no, the truth is I love making these videos. I'm trying to share the stuff that I'm learning as I learn it. One crazy sort of thing that happens as you grow and as you learn is that you don't realize the stuff you're learning when you're learning it. It always kind of just feels like it's crazy and it's kind of like just like all this shit going on. And so that's very much being the case. Like I tweeted yesterday that in the last year I've spent like basically $1.5 million on Meta buying ads, and that like it always sounds like a flex when you say things like this, and I guess it is a flex, but someone was asking me about scaling, and I'm thinking like, yeah, it was like an absolute crazy whirlwind of learning stuff and deciding how to allocate that money as we grew and stuff like that. So all that to say is I want to capture more of this stuff as I'm going through it, and also share those lessons, because there's so many dope brands out there that are starting. There's so many cool people who want to build brands, and I resonate with that so deeply because for a long time I've wanted to be an entrepreneur, and I've had a lot of failures, and it's been this up and down thing, and now it's so exciting to be getting traction and to be doing this. And I just get like, I find it so much fun to encourage other people to do it, to talk about it, and to share all that stuff. So with that being said, today's video pertains to that, because I want to talk about what you actually want. And I think for most of the people watching this video, I kind of know what you want, I kind of know what you're after. And some of you already know you're building brands and this and that. Some of you might be still figuring out just this make money online thing, or how to make money. And what I kind of want to say is that ultimately, like you want to build something, and when you build something real, like a lot of things fall into place. So I kind of rip on agencies, and like I might even call this video like do not start an agency in 2025. And agencies are fine for cash flow, and they're fine for learning skill sets, and it's great. Like you can make a ton of money, the profits are super high and all this, but like at the end of the day, when you're telling your story, like, do you want to talk about the cold email agency you did? And I love cold email, and I love the cold email wizard, so it's not about that. It's just more about like, what do you really want to build here? So get cash flow if you need to get cash flow, but build something that's really cool. And I think that e-commerce is one of the best ways to build something that is really cool. And I've kind of been like looking out there and seeing a little bit of this where like you see people who kind of end up like, even people who just do content, there's nothing wrong with that, but like they might have a podcast and all they do is like talk to people, and they build this great audience, and then they might start a brand after that, and that's kind of cool. But like you almost sense that there's a bit of like it's a bit of a vacuum. They're like, I don't really know who I am other than like this guy who talks about it. And yet when you contrast that to when you build a brand, when you build a legitimate thing that serves people, it's this natural like evidence for what you're doing. So you can do, on top of that, you sure talk about stuff and have your podcast, but I do think that the building of that physical thing, we have products, we have customers, it's almost very clear like what the transaction is. It's like, yeah, we make these coffee cups and we sell them to people, and that's what we do. There's something very like platonic about that. There's something very real, and then there's something very there's something more clear about what you need to do as an operator to take action. It's like you need to sell more stuff. You need to build out your infrastructure and your operations so that you can grow. That's one reason why I kind of gravitated back towards having a physical location and wanting to do some of this myself, because I think for me that's really guided me along this path of being able to scale and being able to grow. At the end of the day, like, it's cool to be able to travel with your laptop. Like, sure, don't get me wrong. And I've even like done a little bit of that, not that much, because honestly, it kind of like is not that great. And maybe I'm just like a loser who doesn't know how to have fun, but I've been like, I do like traveling, but now I just like to combine traveling with work things and meeting up with other people who are excited about stuff, because like you don't have the having the laptop on the beach writing a blog. Like that was the 2010 dream. It's kind of gone now, and like I don't know, it's kind of empty. So if you're watching this video, you probably want to build something cool. You've got your idea for the brand, and that's what I think is worth doubling down on. That's what I think is worth kind of going all in on, is building this thing, because I think what you're after is a lot deeper than just, you know, like having some payment show up in your phone and your laptop, and then you're like, and now I'm so free I can go do anything. Freedom is like a weird word that people throw around. I've started to resonate a lot more with like responsibility is really what sets you free. Like the more responsibility I have on me, the better person I become. I'm kind of an asshole and kind of a loser if I'm just like only have money and I'm just like drinking and I'm just like, oh, what's going to make me happy, and I'm like traveling and this and that. It's like, once again, maybe I'm just not chill enough. But taking on more responsibility, building a team. There have been times when I'm like, why am I doing this? Like I didn't sort of sign up for this. But deep down inside, like I know I signed up for this, and this is the thing that's creating like the ripples, and it ripples even into your marketing, even into your credibility as a brand. I believe. You know, would some people disagree with that? It's like, sure, of course, and you don't. I'm not saying you need a warehouse. I'm not saying you need to do your own fulfillment. I'm not saying you need to make your own product, but there's pieces of this that stack together, and I think like as human people, when we like physically build stuff, like we like very much feel that. So all that to say is, if you're building your brand, like you're on the right path, like keep going, but build more cool stuff into it. We've got all these ideas now for like the cool stuff that we can do about it. And I want to use the example of Nick Bare. I watched him a while ago, and then my brother just has recently gotten into working out and all this stuff, and he's starting a brand, and it's super cool. Like he's been really inspired by what Nick's done, and you know, Nick created that whole BPN sort of like community down near Austin, Texas, and people go there, and there's like this movement and this energy, and it draws people in. And it's the opposite of this kind of like, oh, I only need a laptop and I'm off in Thailand, but I have like this many followers. It's like this real thing that is like making waves, and that's pretty cool. Like that's pretty cool. I can't talk. That's pretty freaking cool. So let's get a little bit more practical. You can do this. I think that's maybe what I'm trying to say, is like it takes longer to cash flow things. The margins aren't as good in e-com, but building out a brand is a very sort of like fulfilling. It's a fulfilling thing to do. It depends what your goals are. Like it totally depends what your goals are. I know some people don't want all the operational difficulty and they just want like to run the ads and this and that, and that's totally fine. But the thought that kind of came to me was that a lot of people who don't have the actual business, they end up a little empty, and they end up a little almost like like they have imposter syndrome around what they're doing because they're too far removed from like what they're actually doing. And that's just something I've noticed. What attracts me, and what has always attracted me, and what I can't get away from even if I try to, is like I want to be on the front lines. I want to be the brand that's doing things that other brands, you know, can't quite manage, because it's like, oh, they just got the agency to do this, and they have the cookie cutter version of that, and they got their little design for this, and their social media schedule says this. Boring. Nobody gives a fuck about that. At least that's what I think. And obviously there's tons of boring businesses that make lots of money, so whatever, it works. But if you've got a brand, like lean in to the things that are weaknesses for other brands that can be strengths for you. And this comes right back down to the Facebook ads. Like run some fun, cool, like direct response Facebook ads that are out of the mold, like break the mold. Like you get to make that stuff up. You get to test that stuff out. That's part of the fun here. I think that e-commerce is such a great way to like use your creativity. you've got the branding, you've got the copy, you can do video ads, you've got, all these different ways to express the thing that you want to bring into the world. And the e-commerce is just a vessel for you to be able to do that. So I think that's pretty much it. Like if you want to build something really freaking cool, and it's like, yes, you can exit it, and yes, there's different ways of doing it, but I know some of the guys watching this, they want not just to build a business, they want to build a life. And what I'm starting to learn and what I'm starting to realize is that the cool shit that I want to do is actually pretty closely tied to the business. It's not just make money so that I can do, that big question mark thing, so that I can then be free. It's like, no, this is really fucking fun building this and everything that comes with it, and I want to maximize that. I want to have the gym, and people are coming here, and we're recording podcasts, and we're putting on events, and we our customers are like, yeah, this brand's like, no one does this. Like they do it this way. I love these guys. Like, I buy all their stuff. I buy their programs. I buy their products. Like, I buy their hoodies, their swag. That's really friggin' cool. And it's like, that is kind of, no one can really copy that, because that's very hard to do. It's hard to do, but it's also really fun. It becomes just this X factor in what you're doing that, people can rip your products off, but ultimately they can't rip off kind of what you're doing. And on paper, I could be wrong. Maybe it's the boring brands who it's corporate people, and I guess I kind of am wrong, because at scale, customers don't even know who owns these brands and all these different things. So you can build that type of business, but it comes down to your goals. And what the thought that hit me last night was just kind of like, you can just feel pretty empty if even if you're making like 30 or 50K a month. And that might sound crazy if you're not there yet, but I've kind of been there. I never made that much with freelancing, but I made enough that it started to be like, the question mark was like, well, what are you going to do now? Like, yes, you can go book a hotel and you can go somewhere, and yes, you can kind of, up your lifestyle, and you can still make connections and all this stuff. But I just look out there at some of the info guys, and there's only a few who I think really live it, kind of so Cold Email Wizard and Client Ascension guys, I love them. I love what they're doing. There's some people who kind of do that, but I see other people who they're struggling to keep spinning up an offer, and it's all smoke and mirrors, and nothing against info marketing. I like info marketing, but it's a little bit, they almost can't validate themselves, because they always have to be proving that they can spin up some offer out of nowhere, and there's less tangibility around it. A guy like Ty Lopez has been doing that for years, and I have heard that he actually doesn't do that well. And that could be totally wrong. He's obviously a brilliant marketer. I'm sure he's not hurting for money, but just he's always doing that new thing, right? And I don't know, even some podcasters sometimes, some big podcasters, it's almost dude, you're a grown man. All you do is have conversations, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not talking about Rogan. Rogan's a badass. He does all this other shit. He can do whatever he wants. I just mean if you're not building something that's cool, I think that's tied to your money, I think things can get less integrated. So this was more of a weird video, but if you're starting out, and you kind of resonate with this, and you want to build something that is fulfilling for you, and you want to have that more hands-on experience, I would say go for that. I would say lean into that, and do what other brands don't do, which is really do stuff yourself. Really lean into building out what you want to build out, from the marketing to the product to everything, because I think that stuff's going to be more and more of a currency with things like AI and whatnot. This trust, this authenticity, almost unpredictability. like, you know, it's hard to fake that. So I think that's the vid. I had some other thought that I wanted to tie into this, but at the end of the day, like, I think the main point is, like, yes, like, drop shipping from your room is cool, but like there's people even in that space, and they make it look like they're pretty successful, and drop ship, like, they don't even make money off e-commerce anymore. Like, they'll have an agency, and that's cool too, and like, they teach people drop shipping, and like, I love all that shit, but it just gets like, it gets weird. It's like it's like dating your cousin. It's kind of like, there's like, it just gets weird. It gets weird. So don't date your cousin. Build a real brand. And I think that's pretty much it. Don't be afraid to scale your Facebook ads. Learn to write some good emails. Make cool products, and let's make 2025 the most badass year of based brands ever. I'll see you tomorrow. Please like, subscribe, all that shit, whatever. Thank you. Bye.